Whether it's because of your business, target audience, something to do with your competitors, or some other factor, it doesn't make sense to have your ads always on 24/7. But it's also too much of a pain in the butt to go back in the platform and turn things on and off and making sure that they're on in just the right hours. And that's where ad scheduling can come in. What I want to run through today is how you can set up ad schedules for your Google Ads campaigns to make sure that your ads are on when they need to be, off when they need to be, and allow you to get more or less aggressive based on performance patterns that you're seeing. I've hopped into a placeholder search campaign so I can show you how to set up ad schedules. This is what it's going to look like when you're on the ad schedule portion of the interface. And within each campaign, you can come over here on the left and find ad schedule down here. And this is where it's going to bring you. You'll see that the biggest thing on this page is going to be this table up here at the top. Right now, it doesn't look like much, but this will be a really easy way to see when your ads are active, when you have bid modifiers in place, and what the performance is of different days of the week, different hours of those days for your campaigns based on the ad schedule you set up. Although it looks like just a bunch of gray bars with a blue outline right now, it will look more impactful later and be a lot easier to use once I show you an example that actually has some data involved. Down below this top chart is going to be a table of different metrics. You can see right now there's nothing here, but there are some headers that show day and time, bid adjustment, clicks, impressions, all the different metrics that we want to have in place. So I'll go through setting up an ad schedule first, and then we'll see how that populates down below. To create your ad schedule, you can either click Edit Ad Schedule down on the bottom of the screen, or you can click the pencil up here. Once we're on the Edit Schedule screen, you'll see that we still have this chart over here to the right that we'll use to visualize when our ad schedule is active. But I do want to talk about a couple of quick things down in this small paragraph before we set up an ad schedule. The first is the first line that says it's based on account time zone, which is Eastern time. So every time we set up an ad schedule, it's only going to be related to the time zone that the account is set up in. If your account is set up in Eastern time, like this one is, but you're trying to advertise to people from Eastern time all the way to Pacific time, that's a 3-hour difference. So remember, whatever you're setting up could have implications for the folks on the Pacific coast that are 3 hours behind those on Eastern time. So we need to keep in mind all of the time zones that we're trying to advertise across. This is even more important if you're also trying to do international campaigns. It wouldn't make sense to have them run from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern US time if you're trying to advertise to somebody in Australia, for example, because that would basically be all of their evening hours, since they're almost the exact opposite of Eastern time. The second sentence in this paragraph is also important because it says that each time you change your ad schedule, you are effectively going to change and rewrite any of the ad schedules that you had in there prior. Right now, this account doesn't have any data in it, so it's not going to overwrite anything. But if you had ads running all day on Monday and you changed them to be only 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Monday, the data line item in your ad schedule for Monday all day 24 hours would go away. It's going to be removed. So when you make adjustments to your ad schedule, remember that each time you do that, you're going to lose it in the ad schedule section, but the data is still available, and I'll show you how to do that at the very end of this video. But each time you adjust your ad schedule, you are effectively rewriting what the schedule is, and you're going to start from scratch with new data. So just be sure that you really do want to change your ad schedule before you do it. Otherwise, you won't be able to make the same bid adjustments that you could before. So now let's get into setting up the actual ad schedule, and that is going to come over here. So there are 3 different fields. There's going to be the drop down that shows you which days you want to adjust your times for. So you can do that in either all days and make adjustments to Monday through Sunday. You can adjust it for just the weekdays, just the weekends, or any individual day of the week. So for now, let's just say I want to do for the weekdays. You then choose your start time and end time. So if I want to run things from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. like I talked about, you can do that by just scrolling down, clicking 6 a.m., coming over to the end time zone and clicking 6 p.m. And we have our first line item. You'll see that the chart over on the right hasn't changed yet. We'll have to save it for that to take effect. But one quick thing that I do want to point out for anybody who doesn't use the 12-hour clock like we do in the States, you can choose this 3-dot logo up here and choose whether you want to use a 12-hour or 24-hour clock. So whichever fits your preferences. I'm going to stick with a 12-hour. So we have the ads running from Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. But let's say we also want to have them running on Saturday and Sunday from noon to 4. If we want to add a second line item, we can just come in here and click Add, click Saturday and Sundays, and now let's just adjust this to be 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, so we have those 2 set up. Now I'm just going to click Save. Once we click save, now you can see that the chart up at the top is different and we have additional line items in the table down below. Each of the time frames where we have our ads active are within a blue line, and if we do not have ads active, they're going to be just grayed out over here on the side. Each time you hover over, you can see that they'll give you a little bit of a rundown of kind of when your ads are going to be active. And an example I'll show you later, there will be performance data in those tables as well. In the table down below is where we can start to utilize some of the bid adjustments that I talked about in the introduction. If you want to have a more aggressive or a less aggressive bid on any individual day during the time frames that you have set here, you can do that. You just have to come in here and click in the bid adjustment section, and you can increase, let's say 20% on Mondays, and maybe we decrease 20% on Tuesdays. It's a very easy adjustment to make. And what that means is that when your bid is being calculated on Mondays, for example, Google is going to take in your base max CPC bid, any of the other bid adjustments you have in place for devices, locations, audiences, as well as this day parting, and then give an additional 20% increase because it's a Monday. One thing to note is that ad scheduling bid adjustments do not work with the majority of the different automated bid strategies. So manual CPC or enhanced CPC is probably one of the best options that you can use, but I do want to show you a quick table that outlines when ad scheduling will work with different bid strategies. Here you can see that the only automated bid strategy that ad scheduling works with is maximize clicks. All of the other bidding strategies are going to ignore your ad scheduling and the bid modifiers that you have set up because they are trying to go after your target CPA, or they're trying to maximize conversions, and they're using all of the tools at their disposal. So for whatever reason, you need to have ad scheduling in place, or you want to be able to adjust how aggressive you are on certain days of the week or times of the day. You need to make sure that you stick with either maximize clicks or manual or enhanced CPC bidding on your campaigns. The best way to utilize this table down below is to make sure that you're adjusting your bids based on the data that is available here. The nicest part is that as time goes on, each one of these different line items is going to accrue data for whatever time range you have it active. When we set up our ad schedule, we might want to let something like this type of ad schedule run for maybe 4 weeks up to a month, something like that, to be able to gather enough data to make a decision about which days and times work best for our campaigns, and then adjust bids accordingly. Once you make a bid adjustment, let's say it's been a month, that's why we decided that Mondays needed a 20% bid increase because performance looked good. The next time you do the analysis to decide if that 20% bid adjustment should stay there or should be removed or changed to something else, should be from the day that you set that 20% bid adjustment moving forward. You don't want to look at the data prior to the time that you set that bid adjustment, because then you're optimizing on that data twice, and that's not going to be helpful. So when you make a bid adjustment, next time around, make sure that you optimize only off of the data since that bid adjustment has been in place. The next thing real quick is that if I scroll up, you'll see that the chart up at the top has changed a bit. We still have the blue line outlining what days and times our campaigns are active, but Monday and Tuesday now have a yellow bar at the top of that time range that designates at a glance that there is a bid modifier in place for that time frame. So you can hover over and it'll tell you what it is. So on Monday, again, it's 20%. Tuesday, negative 20%. But this is how you read this chart at a glance. You can see easily that your ads are running only during these certain times and that you have bid modifiers on Monday and Tuesday. So this is an example that you would see if you need to make sure that your ads are only running during certain time frames, but that's not the only way that ad scheduling can be used. If you have your campaigns in such a way that they can be running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that doesn't mean that ad scheduling can't be a good tool for you. So I want to show you a basic example of an ad schedule that I can use for my accounts that are set up for a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week schedule, but I also want to take advantage of the ad scheduling bid modifiers. So let's hop back into the Edit Ad Schedule section. I'm going to remove what's on here to start. So now it's defaulted back to all days. And this is usually how I set it up to start. But then I choose different segmentations of the day. Usually it will be early pre-work hours, then the morning hours, then afternoon to close of business, and then evening hours. That's how I set it up in a pretty easy 4-section system. So I'm going to go through and set this up and show you what that looks like. So now I have all days set up for midnight to 6 a.m., 6 a.m. to noon, noon to 6 p.m., and 6 p.m. back down to midnight. So this will cover all 24-hour segments of each day of the week, but it's broken up a little bit. So let's go ahead and click save. When I do this, you'll notice that again, I'm effectively overwriting the ad schedule that I had before. So all of these line items are going to go away and they will be replaced by the new ad schedule that I've set up. And now we can see that all days, all times are covered in the blue line. There's nothing that's only grayed out, but now we have the ability to adjust bid modifiers based on different times of the day and days of the week. So let's just take Monday for an example and say that I want the bid modifiers to be pretty aggressive to decrease bids in the early hours and in the evening hours, but I want to get more aggressive in the afternoons because that's a time that tends to perform best for us. So I'm going to set up these bid modifiers real quick and show you what that looks like. So now that I have all of my Monday bid modifiers in place, you can see in the table at a quick glance that I have the yellow bar up at the top because there are bid modifiers. And now you can hover over and see that I've got a negative 25% bid modifier here, negative 25% in the evening, and a plus 25% in the afternoon because that's when performance looks good. The last thing to note here is that each individual day can only be broken up into 6 segmentations. Right now I have every day broken into 4 for early morning, morning, afternoon, and evening, but you can have up to 6 if you want to have them broken out differently. Think about how you want your days to be broken up, which are going to be the most impactful times when you can set up bid adjustments to optimize performance, but know that you can only have 6 individual segmentations for each individual day. To close out, I do want to hop into an account that has some actual data so you can see a couple other ways that you can get some insights on your ad schedule. Now we can see a chart at the top of the ad schedule page that's got a little bit more information going on. You can see that we're still running on every hour of every day. There are bid adjustments in place for the early morning hours and evening hours, but there's also the bolder blue bars and lighter blue bars throughout different days of the week. So the work hours for Monday through Friday, you can see that there are bold blue bars, and then Friday early morning and Saturday and Sunday have a little bit more of a lighter color. What this is doing is reflecting the performance stat that's been chosen, and it's making a heat map to show you where the majority of the clicks are coming from. In this instance, Monday through Friday during the work hours, for the most part, are pretty even. There is some subtlety between them. The lighter blue bar on Wednesday designates that there's a little bit less clicks there than on a different day. There's 208 clicks on Wednesday. There's 285 on Mondays, but it is subtle. On Saturday and Sunday, the blue bar is much lighter, where there's only 38 and 57 clicks respectively. But you can see other metrics here, and there are some that make a little bit more of an impact when you see them. So if you click this drop down, you'll see all of the different metrics you can use in the ad schedule to show up in the heat map off to the left. The one I think in this account that makes the biggest impact is conversions. Here you can see that all of the performance for the Friday morning and Saturday and Sunday went away because those don't have any conversions. Wednesday and Thursday lightened up quite a bit. Monday and Tuesday are also a bit lighter, but you can tell that there's still some performance there. But you can see that Friday is really the day that we get the most conversions. We have 13 compared to 3 on Wednesday, 8 on Mondays, and this is the way this chart will help you see at a glance how your ad scheduling is doing and if you might need to make some adjustments for performance. So in this account, since performance looks really good on Fridays, we can come down and see that not only does it have 13 conversions, it also has a $146 cost per lead, which in this account is very good. So in this instance, I might want to give this Friday a bid increase of 25% to make sure that we're capitalizing on all Fridays moving forward. Tuesdays are another example where things look good, but not quite as good as Friday, so maybe I give it a 15% bid increase. And Thursdays, on the other hand, look terrible. There's only one conversion. The cost per conversion is $2,000 for the past 4 Thursdays because of the past 30 days. So maybe I come in here and give this a bid decrease of 20%. Like I said earlier, the next time I come back to optimize performance, I want to make sure that I'm only looking at today's date and forward. That way I'm not optimizing off of the same set of data twice. To close out, I do want to show you how you can analyze performance for your day parting outside of the ad schedule, because I think that will be important when you decide to make changes to your ad schedule or if you're trying to decide if your ad schedule should be a certain time frame. So over in the left navigation, you can see that we're still on ad schedule, but there are 3 different segmentations down below. There are day and hour, day, and hour. individually broken out. So let's just start off with day. And these are going to all be pre-made reports that regardless of your ad schedule, they will show you how each individual day performs. It's not going to tell you the bid modifier. It's not going to tell you any of the hours that are set up. It's just going to show you the data for those individual time slots to make it easier to analyze performance. So here we can still see that the data is the same for this time frame because my ad schedule has been set up the whole time. So Friday still has 13 conversions, Thursday still has 1. It's still terrible, but it's a really easy way to see that even if you've made adjustments to your ad schedule, if you removed something, whatever it is, you can always find the data for each individual day of the week in this report. The same thing goes for hour of the day. You can choose the hour report and it will break down each individual hour of performance for you so you can analyze and make some adjustments based on how your ads are performing during individual hours. The last report is pretty easy to guess at this point based on the other two, but it shows you the individual hours broken down also by day to show you how Monday between 11 a.m. and noon performed versus Monday 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. versus Tuesday 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., so on and so forth. Personally, I like to take this report, export it into an Excel sheet, make a heat map of the performance data that's for each of these individual days and hour of the day so that I can then decide what my ad scheduling segmentation should be. Maybe the data suggests that instead of having 4 6-hour blocks during the day, maybe I need to have a couple that are the same. So maybe the midnight to 6 a.m. and 6 a.m. to noon can be the same. But if performance data shows me that the early afternoon versus mid-afternoon versus evening perform very differently, maybe I change those two. Instead of being noon to 6 p.m. and 6 p.m. to midnight, maybe I set up my ad scheduling so now it's noon to 3 p.m., 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., and 7 p.m. to midnight. Let the data decide what your different segments should be and allow you to adjust bids based on what the performance is telling you, not necessarily just the easy logical breakouts throughout the day. Thanks for watching our video. If you thought it was useful, give us a thumbs up below.
We release a new video at least once a week, so if you want to get notified of when a new one comes out, be sure to subscribe to the Paid Media Pros channel.